What's going on, guys? Squeebs and crew back with a brand new episode. We have a special guest today, the unfiltered future challenge champion, gambling enthusiast, Devin Walker.
Oh, my man, Seth.
What's
There
going
he
on?
is. It's been a long time coming.
It has been.
You are in the midst of an all-time heater. It's unparalleled, really, in this Twitter gambling advice landscape.
Yeah.
I've got two guys, right? There's you. There's my man Sam Panianovich from Chicken Dinner Podcast,
Okay.
which I would recommend to listen to anybody that's looking for another person that knows what they're doing. But I don't know. Do you have your numbers on like the last, I'd say, 4 weeks? Because it's got to be
So the last
80%.
month, the last month, 81%. I know that.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean,
that's unbelievable. It is.
Yeah, I appreciate the support from you. I really do. I love it. But I put everything into it. I put hours into it. I mean, when I have a losing day, that kills me. And I'm up at 4:00 in the morning looking at lines. Like that's what I'm doing. I mean, but it's crazy. I think the thing for it is to be disciplined of with the amount of picks I do. So like when I started gambling like back years and years ago, like I'm betting like 12 games a day. Like, right. But that's just, it's just, you're not gonna hit 12 out of 12. So never not gonna hit. I mean, once March Madness comes around, it's a whole different story. I'm gonna bet every single game, of course, but on a given night, like I learned probably a couple months ago that disciplined gambling is such a big thing. And especially with parlays and stuff like that, like I just can't. Like I'll do a parlay here and there, but you're not gonna hit them. I mean, you're just not, especially like the 5-6 leg parlays, you're just not gonna hit.
Yeah, so like, it's as somebody who hammers 5-team heaters,
yes,
I can attest to the fact that they are, it's plus 1,200 for a reason.
Right. Yeah. So like for me, it's like I'm going 3 or 4 plays a night. I know I've done this for so long that I know that I can hit at least 3 every night. So if I'm putting out 3 or 4 plays, I'm either gonna go 3-0, I'm gonna go 3-1, I'm gonna go 2-1. So.
Yeah, and it really has been that in this. I mean, the sweeps are real too. So I always, contrary to your advice here, I always do a Seth Lock parlay. If you're throwing 3 out there, I've got them. I'm buying probably a point, maybe half a point on each one.
Yeah, I have a buddy that does that.
I have to, because the broom comes out.
It does come out. When it comes out, but last night, I don't know if that Tulane game.
I watched it.
I could not believe what I was watching.
The last 60 seconds of that game were painful.
I think it was the last 2 seconds where he just throws it up, and I'm like, come on, dude.
He lets it bounce too, right?
Right.
They've got the midcourt inbounds. He lets it bounce a few times, and I'm like, okay, they're gonna let him go in. He's gonna do like an emphatic jam.
Right.
If you're not even gonna try to make the basket, why are you playing with our emotions? And do you, as a college player, and I hope the answer to this is no, do you know the line?
See, I don't know if it was yesterday, the day before, the Kentucky game. Whereas I think people had minus 10.5, and that guy just like stood there, and then he dunked it, didn't count, and then it didn't count. They've got to know the lines. I think they do.
They've got to know the lines, and they're wanting their team to not cover the line.
I think if anything, the teams that know the lines are the underdogs, because they're like, you know what, we're coming in as 12-point underdogs. We gotta like. I think the underdogs know the lines. Maybe not the favorites, but the underdogs definitely do. So Tulane, I don't know. They either didn't want us to cover, or I don't know what happened.
That's but also, so like in the Kentucky game, in this, I don't know if you've seen this, but there was what started the demise of Arizona State basketball was a big scandal with, it was 2 or 3 of their best players were tied in with the mob. And they were shaving points. So
Right.
they would be favored. They're very good at the time. They'd be favored, 14 points. So, but at that time, I think this was like late 90s. There's no smartphones. A lot of people didn't even have internet access unless you're going to the fucking library. So the bookie would tell this point guard, I forget his name, if it was like a 14-point line, to be like, okay, you can win by anything under 9. So he
Right.
would shave even on the line to tell them that, and it worked a lot of times. So it would almost make more sense in like a Kentucky situation if you do know the line and you make sure to lose by a half a point.
Right.
I can see that because you still win the game
Mm-hmm.
and you win your bet. So that's hard, I think, for someone to turn down against a team like South Carolina. It's like, okay, we know we're going to win. Let's keep it close. We're good enough to keep it close and just
Right.
not blow them out.
I just feel like it was a weird situation though, because it looked like I've seen some weird tweets about the game that he looked at the end of the bench and he like I don't know, it was weird and I don't even know what I want to know what happened, but because he had the ball, he was gonna dunk it, he stopped, he looked at the bench and then slammed it down.
Yeah. So,
So
and that could be like a coach being like, don't rub it in. But that goes out the window when you throw a tomahawk down
right,
as time expires. It's like, if you're
right,
going to do that, put the ball on the ground and walk away.
or just throw it up.
Yeah. Like
Like
do something. But yeah, those were two. I had Kentucky minus 10.5, and I had Tulane plus 10.
yeah,
And that was
Tulane last night was a killer because it was Wake Forest was so free last night. I don't even know what that spread was because there's some games where I'm sitting here and I'm confused. Either I'm scared of the line and I don't want to touch it, or it's a game like Wake Forest yesterday where it's like they're so much better. I get there on the
so
road,
much better. Yeah.
but that was a free line. And I'm sitting here and Wake Forest won. I'm great. And I got Sanford down like 4 and Tulane's down like 9. And I'm like sweating like crazy.
Do
Sanford
you
comes.
have do you have a multi-screen
Oh,
viewing scenario?
of like different games? Or are you talking about like, am I watching multiple games at once?
Yeah, like do you have multiple screens with different games on them at the same time, or are you just flipping back and forth?
Oh no, I got 3 TVs. I got my computer. I'm watching
Yeah,
them all at once.
that's okay. You're
Yeah.
watching them all at once.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I can't not watch the games.
Oh, that's good juice.
I can't.
That's good juice.
So a lot of people, I know a lot of people that I've talked to, they just bet the games. They don't watch them. I
Yeah.
can't not watch the games because also a big thing what I've learned in the past like month or two, and I just started doing it, is live betting the games.
I was headed right down this scenario.
Like
Are you live hedging or
yes.
okay.
So like last night, we had Sanford plus 3.5, and they're sitting there, and you got to live bet and to watch the games. You really understand what's going on in the game. So I'm seeing Sanford. They're in the bonus. They're down 6. They're not
Exactly.
shooting poorly, and you giving me plus 5.5 on the live bet. I'm gonna hammer that shit all day.
Right.
Because in my mind,
Yeah.
I'm like, I think they're gonna cover this. This game looks like a game that's gonna go to overtime, and it did. You give me plus 5.5, I'm gonna hammer that. They're at home. The crowd's going crazy.
Let
I'm
me
gonna
ask
hammer
you
it.
this. Do you ever hammer live alternate lines? Like to get, because oftentimes in a game like that Sanford game, if the line gets up to 5.5, 6.5, there'll be
Yeah.
an alt line probably plus 155 right at 3.
Right.
So where
Yeah.
you made your initial bet to begin with.
The thing about I don't usually because I'm the kind of person that I don't like to chase. I don't like to double bet certain things. So if I already have Sierra plus 3.5, and then I live bet them at plus 3.5 and they don't cover, like I'm double down.
Right. Yeah.
But
And
yeah,
do you go the other, like, so that's also not a true hedge, right? That's, even betting them plus 3.5 and then plus 5.5, not considered a hedge. Do you go the other way? So like, we'll use Sanford as the example. I'm sure at some point in that game, they were probably up, I don't know, 3 or 4.
I think towards the end of the game they were up by like 2 at some
And
point.
So there might have been an opportunity there to get both teams at plus value
Right. I
and
see what you're
thread the
saying.
needle.
Yeah, I've done
You,
that before.
you
Yeah.
dabble there as well.
I
Oh, you're
I
a dangerous man, Seth. You're a
did. So
dangerous man.
so there's situations where it's I can't remember. It was maybe 2 weeks ago. I can't remember which game it was, but I had a game where I had someone +7 or something like that, and or I can't or like no, I had someone to win by like 6 or 7, and the other team was winning. So yeah, I'll go and if a team is winning by 7 or something like that, and I have the other side, yeah, I'll double down because maybe I could win both.
That's what I'm saying. You're guaranteed, as opposed to mutual destruction. I don't know what the replacement word for destruction would be, but it's essentially I'm going to break even or I'm going to win 2 bets.
Right.
And
Right.
and I take that all the time. Where I fumble and where it sounds like you have taken this out of your repertoire is if I take Sanford +3
Right.
and they go down 12,
Right.
I'm hitting alt line +3 again. I do it almost every time. Maybe not with a full unit, but at that point in my mind, and again, I'm watching the game as well, like checking fouls, see who's in foul
Right.
trouble.
That's a big thing.
That's a huge thing in college down the
Because
stretch.
college basketball, and the thing that I mean, watching a game, I tell all my friends, watching a game with me is the most hilarious thing because I'm screaming, I'm yelling, whatever. The fouls in college basketball either has to change or I don't know what it is because literally it comes down and a lot of things that I look at when I pick teams and whatever, it's free throw percentage. If you don't hit free throws, you're not going to win.
Right.
You're not going to win.
Or if you have I wish I knew more about individual refs because I'm sure that there are stylistically people that just ref the game differently, that see fouls differently. So
Yeah.
I wonder if there could be, like, I always look at the Ken Palm on, the offensive efficiency and
Right.
tempo and all that shit.
Yep.
If somebody had ref stats, I would look at those.
Oh, I would 100% look at those, but that's so
I don't
hard
know if that's
I don't.
illegal or I don't know what that would be, but someone out there may want to start that like paper.
That would be a great business if you just bring out every stat for every ref. I mean, you get paid millions. Everyone would buy your product.
I think everyone's buying your product, especially like I think that because it is such a human nature situation, I refuse to believe that someone's personality doesn't contribute to the whistleblowing. And that
100%.
could be like, if you get a hardo who's like, I refuse to let the home crowd influence me, then they're going to call it, in their mind, they're calling it even, but they're probably going to lean towards the away team just to overcompensate for the fact that they don't want to be considered like a homer ref.
Right.
And there's hardo guys in every, in every position of power. We see it with police, teachers, in any CEOs, whatever it is. There's just people that are hardos. And I imagine that to be the same in refereeing. And I'd like to see if stats support that.
It would definitely be interesting. You bringing this up, I've never thought about this before. Like I've never thought that would be, and that would be an interesting aspect to sports betting with knowing what refs. I mean, yeah, I know a lot of people are like, NFL, it's casual. We kind of know who's refing the games. Same with NBA. There's like a lot of the same refs, especially in the playoffs. But college basketball, I feel like, is a lot different because there's so many games.
There's so many games and there's so many, like, there's got to be some guys out there that have no fucking idea what they're doing.
No chance.
There's got to be some guys in like mid-major conference.
Yeah.
I wonder even what it is. Like, are there groups that always ref the same games together? Are they switching up? Is there a dynamic that plays? They have to get along, obviously, and people don't always get along. So I wonder if there's like a situation where, this crew calls more fouls, or this person calls more fouls with this crew. There could just be a lot there. But that is, if you're live betting and you're not watching the game, you might as well throw your money in the fucking trash can.
Right. And I trust me, I'm out at night. If I'm out on a Saturday night and I do it, I've done it before where I don't watch the game and I'm sitting there watching the ESPN thingy, and I've screwed myself because it's so different when you're not watching the game towards live betting than not watching the game. It's unbelievable.
Well, you throw a couple cans in the mix too. You throw a couple little shooters in the mix. Some of your buddies, you're all rooting for the same thing.
Yeah.
That's where bookies win.
Oh yeah.
Is when people get together
in a whole group, squad parlay, squad bets. We're all riding the you know what the bookies make their money on is those first baskets for the NBA. Like everyone wants to do them because, and that's a thing that I've seen recently. I mean, I've posted a couple of them because it's interesting, but like when those bookies, like Fano, DraftKings, they all do it. They post these crazy parlays, these crazy first baskets. Do we know if those are real or not? I don't know. I really don't.
I mean, know. Photoshop's a hell of a drug, man. You can make those deep fakes that they put out there. Like, I imagine there would have to be some sort, because gambling is so tightly regulated. There's got to be something against that for the big books.
100%.
But I would almost argue that it's good because of what you're saying. It's good for those big books to publish a 12-leg first basket parlay.
Because then everyone's going to go do that.
To win 500. It's probably worth somewhere in the ballpark of 3 to 4 times the value that they've lost based off of what comes in immediately following that.
Yeah.
Because of how much traction those posts get.
Yeah. So what really got you into gambling and betting? Like, what was how long have you been doing it for?
3 older brothers. Didn't even know that I've been gambling my whole life until I realized the amount of things that were bet on wiffle ball games.
Yep.
On free throw shooting contests, on, who can throw the football the farthest. If there was something and at that point it was like, all right, you have to, go in the river when it's March, right? It's like some stupid thing you do with your brothers.
Yeah.
That's gambling though. And I've been doing that since I was 8.
Yeah. Like you're playing. You got the Madden tournaments. You got that's
easy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's where.
Then Bovada was my first actual site.
Yeah.
And once I saw how much more entertaining it is to gamble on something, it was kind of a wrap for me. It's not even like the idea of the money. It's the idea of that feeling of being right about something that pretty much is the flip of a coin.
It's the best feeling.
It's the best feeling. And when you have people that really are putting in the effort, that are up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then that adds a whole new, is like a reward to it. I like it. I think it's wholesome. There's obviously a dark side to gambling, but
oh yeah, for sure. But I think my favorite thing, and I love doing it, is making those videos where it's like, I went 3-0, so here's my little I'll bring the broom out, get excited, but then it's on the next day. Like it is what it is. But so do you just do college basketball? Or do you NFL, NBA? Like, what's your favorite thing to bet on?
Oh, I'm all over the map, my man. There was a time in the pandemic when your boy was going hard on research of Russian table tennis players.
Russian table tennis was the most electric thing in COVID.
It was lit.
It was, for me, it was Russian table tennis. It was Korean baseball. KBO, I made a lot of coins on. Korean baseball.
Interesting.
And then it was, which I got so much hate by my family members for this one, betting on people playing video games, League of Legends, CSGO.
Yeah,
that was it. Esports, yeah.
Yeah. Esports, that was a trying time, man. That was right when gambling was trying to get off, legally off its feet too in a lot of places.
Yep.
And it was like, oh yeah, by the way, here's what you can bet on. It's like, wait, what? I was like, this is insane. but yeah, I'm an equal opportunity hammerer. I prefer college basketball, college football, the NFL.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. NBA's. I think the NBA is fraudulent when it comes to betting. I
The NBA is tough, but I will take any home favorite in the NBA that's down double digits going into the fourth quarter because the money lines are always plus 950
yeah.
and no lead is safe.
No lead
It,
is safe.
no lead is safe, which makes it hard to watch when you bet
Yeah.
when your team's up 24. Like I see the Tatum. The Celtics were notorious up until about 3 weeks ago
Oh
for no
yeah.
lead being safe.
And now I think they're one. I mean, I watch it pretty much every game. I think they're one of the best. I think they are one of the best teams. I think the issue was the new coach. I think the issue was I feel like Brown and Tatum have never really gotten to play the same way at the same time. I feel like either one's having a great month or the other one's having a great month. Now they're both having a great month, and they're getting guys like Robert Williams involved. Like I think the Celtics. Everyone gives me a hard time. I think the Celtics are one of the best teams. They just don't know it yet.
The Celtics have a really high ceiling. I've said this a few times to just my buddies. We don't have a guy. Robert Williams and Marcus Smart are the two guys that could do it. We don't have a guy yet. We don't have a Paul Pierce. We don't have a Larry Bird. Obviously
You don't
not.
think that's Tatum?
I don't. So I'll explain why it's not Tatum. He doesn't understand the power of the Garden. For whatever reason, he might be too young. He's just not a big Boston personality that people will go fucking nuts for. It not a very good player. The Garden is worth 8 points a game if you let it, but
Right.
you have to dunk on someone's head and then fire up the crowd and then go down and shoot a 30-footer. I don't
Yeah.
care if you miss. Like you have to do that because the best team ever to do this is the Golden State Warriors early Splash Brothers, where Steve Kerr just at certain points I've gone to a lot of those games. They have green lights all over the stadium. There's times in that game where they literally get a green light to pull up from 32.
Right.
And they know that if that shot goes in, it's not worth 3, it's worth 6. Because the crowd for the rest of the game, that crowd is there, the energy in the arena. We don't have a player on the Celtics right now, in my opinion, that understands the power of the Garden and of that fan base. And if they find that, if someone comes into that role, I think Robert Williams can do it. I know Marcus Smart has done it briefly.
I think Brown could too.
Brown could do it, but he's not. It for me, he doesn't like. I want him to turn it up a notch in terms of
Right.
like talk some shit. Like you have all the
Yeah, I don't see any of them doing that.
They don't do it. They're passive. They're very passive.
Like if you put Brown or Tatum's talent in Marcus Smart, I think that's the guy.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's the guy. That's the guy, no doubt.
Yeah.
Because he looks cool, right?
Right.
So like
Yeah.
Robert Williams and Marcus Smart look cool. They look like they've got some swag. They look like there's someone I can root for.
I like Robert Williams.
Robert Williams is the man. The Time
He's
Lord
the
is the
man.
man.
He is Time Lord is the man.
Time Lord is the man. I've been saying it for a long time. Blocked shots, emphatic dunks, alley oops,
Yep.
like big rebounds. That's what the Garden likes. That's diving on the floor. Tommy points. Like we need someone. Scal's great. Love Scal. But Tommy Heinsohn was even that guy for the Celtics when they didn't have that guy on the court. He could get the Garden going. He could get people fired up just, from the announcer's chair. And I just want one of our superstars to play like a fucking superstar. Don't bitch about getting fouled. Don't try to emulate these other guys. You're not them. You need to be a Boston-based superstar. You need to have some fucking grit. You got to dive on the ground. You got to get the crowd fired up. Like if they can do that, I can see them making a legitimate run because that is one of the hardest places to play in all sports.
Oh,
if it's going, it's tough to play there.
I don't know if you saw but James Harden just got traded to the Sixers.
Oh wait, they did the Ben Simmons James Harden
It
trade.
just happened before we got on here. James Harden, Ben Simmons. So it's I'll run the trade for you. It's James Harden. It was Paul Millsap, I think, for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, 2 first-round picks. I think the Sixers got robbed.
Wait, Brooklyn got
Seth
Curry
Curry,
too,
yeah, Ben
Drummond
Simmons,
and Ben Simmons.
and 2 first-round picks.
Oh, they got. Oh my God! Wait, and who did? And they gave him Harden and who?
I think Paul Millsap or something like that.
God, that's abysmal.
Yeah, and I think the Celtics just traded Josh Richardson for Derek White from the Spurs. That just
Both
happened.
of those teams might have just got worse.
Which team?
The Sixers and the Nets might have just got worse. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how Ben Simmons is going to do. That could be a problem with Kyrie and Durant doing all the shooting and him just running the point and playing defense. That could be dangerous. But
I think the Nets got better because I mean, I know Ben Simmons and Kevin Durant are friends, so I feel like Ben Simmons won't be crying like he was. And they don't. I mean, Harden's a distraction. He's been a distraction for every team he's been on. I think the reason.
Yeah.
I think if you look at the Nets, if they had Kyrie full time, they would be one of the best teams in the league, but they don't.
So who's going to play? Who's the Sixers are going to roll out? Harris, Embiid, Harden,
Probably
Maxey, and who?
I guess Embiid,
No, so Embiid, Harris,
Harden,
Maxey,
I guess Thibault.
and
I don't know.
Thibault. Some random, yeah.
Yeah.
They might go make another move and try to get a shooter.
They need to because they just lost to a best shooter.
Right.
But I mean,
one of the reasons they're tough to defend is because if Embiid's in there with his back to the basket,
right,
and his head up there, I mean, that's.
But you look at Harden and Embiid, though, that's probably one of the best duos in all of basketball. If they both play to what they can.
That is a true early 2000s big two.
Yep.
That's a true. That is RIP, but that is a mini Kobe Shaq.
Yep. I was just about to say that.
That's a mini. Well, I guess not a mini. That's like the giant version of my all-time favorite duo, which is Stockton Malone.
Yep, that's another good one. But
big John Stockton guy.
Are you?
Love John. Think he's great.
What's your football team?
Raiders.
Okay, I can live with that.
Las Vegas Raiders. I'll tell you what, I'm all in on the Bengals.
I was just about to bring up the Super Bowl and start talking about the Super Bowl because that is Sunday. I'm hoping to get this out before Sunday. I'm guessing you got the Bengals, obviously, because you just said.
I just took a trip down to Providence to place my wagers legally.
Oh, did you?
I'm in on Bengals money line. I'm no Mattress Mac, right? We're not looking at. And you want to know why I'm in on the Bengals?
I want to know why because, yeah, I want to know why.
Because it's not what the analytics say. I'll tell you that much right now. I can't bet against Joe Burrow. In my heart, if the Bengals, I almost did an emotional hedge and hammered the Rams so that I could be happy with either outcome. Because I do think the Rams will win this game.
I got the Rams pretty big. That I actually put the bet in for the Rams about 2 hours after the game was over. Because if you watch every single game in the playoffs, the Bengals really haven't played a full game.
No. They won't.
They won't. And
they'll be playing from behind.
Right. To beat a team like the Rams, who have literally put this in motion since the first week of the season when they made all these deals, and then Robert Woods goes down. Let's go get OBJ. Let's go get Von Miller. Let's go get this guy out of retirement and do this. They are meant to win this. They're meant to win this in LA. It's going to happen. I just don't think the Bengals are going to be able to play a full game to win this.
So my only hesitancy on the Rams is Sean McVay. And I believe him to ruin this for them.
Why is that?
I think he'll ruin it for them Because I think he's going to try to outsmart himself. I think he's going to try to go for it on fourth and 3 on the 40 or on the maybe even on the 35, not kick a long field goal. I don't like him in a close game. Joe Burrow's got absolute fucking ice in his veins.
Yeah.
What's it? McPherson, the kicker.
The kicker. That's
love
love
him.
him. He's
absolute stud.
Yeah.
I put 200 on him at plus. I think it's plus 6,100 for Super Bowl MVP.
MVP for McPherson.
Yeah.
I mean, end of game scenarios, I put it all on the Bengals because they have the kicker. They have he just made 2 big kicks. Mm-hmm. The only thing with the Bengals, I mean, I'm all in on I want to know what everyone else is doing because literally all I've seen is Bengals. And it's all because, Burrow with the cigar and the sun. There's just too much on that side of all this.
The money line's fucked too, by the way. That should not be plus. I think it's plus 162.
Yeah.
That should be plus 225.
Yes, I agree. I think they should be bigger favorites than they are.
It really is not. You just look at the rosters, but what is happening is that can he be the hero that we deserve? I think Joe Burrow be the hero?
The problem that's going to occur towards the first quarter is Ramsey's going to be all over Chase. Chase won't touch the ball. I don't believe he'll touch the ball. I think the problem is going to be, is Higgins and is Boyd, are they going to be able to win this game? That's going to be it.
I would agree with that, but I will say that Ramsey's incredible.
He is.
If they don't put somebody over the top,
that's true.
There's a chance for a double move and a big play because of how aggressive he is. If they really do leave him on an island, just a little stutter and go, a little out and up, and you can blow the top off that defense. If they do exactly what you just said and focus on Boyd and Higgins and some dump off routes to Mixon, right. I think in the early part of the game, they'll set up some big double moves down the field if they're going to put Ramsey on an island. And I've seen him get beat before. I mean, he is a phenomenal cornerback. He's the best in the NFL. I firmly believe that. But if you know where you're going and the other guy doesn't, and your quarterback is throwing dimes,
right,
there's a chance for a couple big plays.
And the thing with Joe Burrow is a lot of people, I want to bet the Bengals so bad, but I just can't because I don't think they're going to win. But he's been on the big stage. He won a national championship. Matthew Stafford hasn't been there. He hasn't been on a big stage like this.
Who's the coach? Is it Coach O? Was the LSU coach?
Yeah.
So he had an interesting stat before the divisional round, and it was that in big games, so high school state championship, college football playoffs, college football national championship, NFL playoffs, Burrow had thrown 23 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. He threw a pick in that game right through the backup running, I forget what his name is, but right through the backup running back's hands, right through his hands, and got picked on the sideline. That's the first pick that he's thrown in the playoffs. He's something like 27 or 28 and 1 with TDs to interceptions.
Incredible.
He doesn't take risky throws. He doesn't force it. He's got a shit offensive line, which terrifies me.
That's going to be the problem because if he needs to not force it because he's going to get rushed and he just can't throw that ball wherever he can't.
Well, he's got to go down. Did you see the mic'd up Aaron Donald psyching himself up thing?
Yeah. That's
terrifying.
It is. And especially you got Von Miller right next to him.
That's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I hate that for Joe. I
do. I love Joe Burrow, but it's gonna be a tough test. I mean, the thing about the Super Bowl is it's who's coming in with the best game plan because you've got 2 weeks to prepare for this. Right. I mean, they know what it's not we're going to play this game in 2 days. They know what they're going to. They know they're going to face Ramsey. They're going to have something set up for this. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be what the Eagles did with the Philly special. They're gonna have some kind of plays lined up,
Oh yeah.
ready to go. I know the Bengals will. The Rams are gonna play what they've been doing because they're confident.
I think also that I think there is a minor chance that we get a similar situation to the Bills' first run where they're like, okay, we're a super team. And yeah, we're all veterans that have worked really hard to get here. But I wonder, because of the big personalities of OBJ, of Ramsey, of some of the other guys in that locker room, on if they're going 100% focus. Because I've seen there's a lot of stories of people, especially in their home.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of buzz over there. Where are those guys 2-3 days before? Are they in the film room, or are they out at a fashion show? That to me plays a factor. And I don't think there'll be a single Cincinnati Bengal at a fucking event, at a party. I
Yeah.
think those dudes, that may not be worth a ton, but we've seen better teams. The greatest show on turf. We've seen better teams take hard L's in the Super Bowl with just guys that are like, you want to know what? We may never get back here.
Right.
So our mindset is, this is it.
Well, this is it for Stafford, I think. This is his shot.
This is his shot. This is his shot. I mean, it's hard though for them to look at their performance this year, and especially with Brady out of the way, and not think this is repeatable.
Right.
And I know those guys, we all have friends like that are good at stuff, but in their minds, they're gods. They've got a few of those guys in that locker room. I don't think
100%.
Darnold's one of them.
No.
I think that's why he scares me.
Right. I think he's just a freak.
He's just a fucking freak.
Yeah, he is.
So
I would not be surprised. I'm actually going to do it. Sprinkle a little Aaron Donald anytime touchdown, because I could see a defensive touchdown, him just sacking him, picking the ball up and running it down the field.
Doing a little Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah.
Rock somebody, pick the ball up with one hand and run it back.
That would be incredible.
That would be incredible. It's going to be a good game though. I got a nice little party set up for it. We're gonna have a good time over here, and it's gonna be a Bengals house. It will be a Bengals house.
Well, no matter what, if the Bengals win, you win. The Rams win, I win. So we all win. Whatever.
Let me ask you this: where do you have you got an idea on the over under? You say it's a 48.5 or something.
I would lean the over, because I just feel the way the game's going to go, the Rams are going to be up, I think, probably 14-7, whatever it is, in the first half. The Bengals have the offense to come back. They're going to come back. So that leans me to be they're going to score like 2 touchdowns in the third quarter. They're going to keep battling back, because the Rams are going to lead the whole game, I think. I don't think the Bengals are going to start off with the lead. I'd say it's going to go over, because in the fourth quarter, it's going to be back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I think I'm putting this game at like 31-28. Rams win it on a field goal.
You want to know what my all-time favorite NFL bet is?
What?
Tie, halftime, full-time. It's my favorite all-time bet. It's always like plus 4,000.
Were you in on the Oakland Raiders Chargers tie?
What? Oh yeah.
Were you in on it?
Oh, all the way in. All the way in. And they were gonna tie.
That was great.
They wanted to tie.
Right.
And then that fucking guy just refused
that
to
timeout.
That
timeout that was called. That was unbelievable.
Oh yeah, I hammered the tie. Of course.
Oh yeah.
Obviously.
That was probably Vegas won a lot of money on that, because a lot of people did it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But they all like there's few thrills in sports like rooting for overtime, and in a Super Bowl with this much buzz in LA, I can just see it. McPherson obviously on the line. I can see him drilling one from like 54 as time expires to go to overtime.
That would be.
Yeah. So I'll put a half a unit
on the overtime with a tie.
And so here's my big Super Bowl prediction. McPherson kicks a 50-plus yarder to take it to overtime as time expires, and then wins it in overtime, wins the MVP, and I hit my plus 6,100.
That would be electric.
That would be it, wouldn't it?
I'll be going crazy if that actually does happen and you predicted that.
Be the moment.
I'm going Rams, but I have a pretty big. I like betting the Gatorade color, and
Ooh.
I've got some thought on the Gatorade color, and I've already locked it in. It's gonna be orange Gatorade.
I was just gonna say, you think it's gonna be orange for the Bengals?
It's gonna be orange Gatorade. I'm feeling it. It's not gonna be
Wow.
yellow or lemon lime. The Rams are gonna win it, but it's gonna be orange Gatorade.
If the Rams are gonna win, don't you think that would lean yellow?
Yeah, but the Gatorade is on the field before the game starts. I think both sides are the same color Gatorade.
Do we know that?
I've heard I heard last year that the Gatorade is on the field before the game starts, and it's the same
Can
color.
we talk about the Gatorade guy? Like, can we talk about the guy that's putting the powder in the water? And does
He bet on the like
does he send a text? Does he
he
send a
has to.
text to
He has
a
to.
guy?
So
Right?
we've got to figure out who that guy is and get a text chain going. Is what
Yeah.
needs to happen.
Does that guy exist? Does the guy with the Gatorade insider trading info exist?
100%.
He's got to.
He's got to know. He knows he puts it in. But
And who is the guy that makes the Gatorade, and is his family in witness protection? Because that would be a very mob thing to do. Would be kidnap the Gatorade guy's family and demand to know the color,
and then just hammer it.
Honestly, decent movie, maybe Ace Ventura like 4 situation here. Just saying.
We're cooking stuff up over here. It's a great idea.
Also, it has to be a certain color, right? So like if they just throw purple in there, everyone lose. Was that a no bet? Like what's the deal?
So the colors that I've seen, there's different sportsbook have, and I think I've seen orange, lemon lime, blue, red. I don't think I've seen purple. So that would be interesting.
Or what about clear? What's that? Arctic frost? Just clear.
Just clear color.
Just foggy.
But they're all like plus 1,000, so it's worth the sprinkle.
Yeah, it is.
At least one on orange, one on yellow. I don't think it's gonna be lemon lime, but I know last year
everyone knows lemon lime fucking sucks.
Yeah, sucks. I think last year the color was blue, but I'm not sure.
At that point,
I don't remember.
At whatever point the Gatorade gets dumped, and I have an emotional investment in the game, I'm having a victory dart. I'm not
right.
Yeah, I'm gone at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the Chiefs Bills game? What? Because I don't know if you tell. I had the Chiefs, and that was just an absolute.
I didn't tail. I will say this. I should have for sure, but I again did. I hate Jackson Mahomes.
So do I.
I hate it.
I can't, and I used to do it. And it lost me so much. I can't. I bet with my brain, not my heart. I can't.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I love Joe Burrow. I just can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah, no, and that's why your unit. That's why you're 81% in the last month, and I'm about 18%, unless I'm trailing you. That's literally the reason as to why. But yeah, I went as soon as I saw it. It was right before the game. I had my buddy over, and I was like thinking about where am I going to go? Where am I going to go? And he's like, he's not a huge football fan, but he loves football, but he also just likes like the game atmosphere. Yeah. And he's like, have you heard about what Jackson Mahomes did to this restaurant in Kansas City? I said, no, what happened? I read the article of him like trying to cancel some small business because they wouldn't, cater to his ridiculous request. And I said, I can't bet. I can't. I need him to lose.
Right. And everyone did.
Not
everyone
once or twice. That slate, I wish I could send you a screenshot of it. I probably had 15 live bets on the Bills.
Yeah.
Over and over and over and over again, I hit them and hit them and hit them and hit them and hit them. And I did the same thing in the next game with Tampa and the Rams. And that one didn't work out either. So that was a tough weekend, but I will say that was single-handedly the best day of football.
Oh yeah,
I've ever seen.
And then the Chiefs And then the Chiefs stole my coins the next week, so it didn't
Yeah.
matter.
And it's not close. That was those two
Yeah.
football games. That was Roger Goodell just throwing it down and saying, "You're welcome."
Well, that was the greatest game I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
I don't know what there's probably a March Madness game in there somewhere.
I'm talking about. I mean NFL though. Like
Oh yeah. I
NFL.
mean games. I mean games. Period.
Oh yeah, I think it's up there for sure. I mean March Madness. You can pick and choose. I mean, obviously the one that always comes to mind is the Villanova UNC game. That
Yeah.
was a great game.
Yeah.
But
Even last year, Zaga
oh
with
yeah, that I mean that's a touchy subject. I
yeah,
mean,
that one was
I
brutal.
I was I had hammered UCLA so hard,
That was
and
brutal. One
that's
of the cooler moments in sports, though, when he hopped up on the announcer's table, I was
I
like,
think I was
that
in
place
like
erupted.
the shot went in, and I don't even. It was like it didn't register for me. I was just staring at the TV in shock
Yeah.
because I thought I was about to win. I was like, this Zaga's going down. Like I said it before the season. I was like, there's no way Zaga's win the championship. That's what I was saying to everybody, and then I got screwed. Absolutely screwed.
The On the subject of bad beats, my dad, the late great Tim Mulligan, R.I.P. He must have been a gambler, a closeted gambler.
Right.
As when I watched, me and him were watching the Yankees Red Sox game. Brett Boone hits the walk off, and he stood up and turned the TV. Didn't use the remote. Turned the TV off with his finger, and didn't say a word for about 3 days.
Oh
And at that point, I was like, this can't just be. He was an emotional Red Sox fan because he'd been a Red Sox fan for so long. But now that I know what it's like to take a bad beat, I was like, there must have been some cash on the line too.
Absolutely.
Because he's not betting on the fucking Yankees. So I was like, I wish I could ask him now, that among many other things. But yeah, it's sports gambling, as we've mentioned, it has its dark side, but I think that it's really good for the economy. I think it's really good for the games in general.
Yeah.
And there's going to be some I guess growing pains as it becomes more popular, because we can't have like a blown call
Yeah.
determine the outcome of hundreds of millions of dollars in
Right.
the fucking ether sphere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if that's a word, but that's where we're headed, is like, I think, fully digitalized refereeing.
I've been saying this for years.
I don't know how they'll do it, but
They have to do it though, because
the strike zone in baseball is the biggest one.
yes, that's a big one. I think NFL is a big one too. Like these calls that they're making of, like I think NFL would be the easiest one to do because you can see the offsides, you can see the false start. We don't. I don't know how they're seeing that in real time. It seems.
Yeah, they said the Pat McAfee show I was watching the other day, and they were talking about ideas for delay a game,
Right.
because that's a giant one too. That is 100% based on the ref.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense because it's a clock.
Right. Majority of the time they're going over. Majority of the time.
Majority of the time that clock says 0 and they snap the ball.
Yep.
And it's like, so what is to prevent somebody from just feeling like calling it for one team and not for another team? There's nothing there. I mean, we saw the Saints pass interference call. That talked about touchy subject. That's another one where I don't know how a machine misses that call.
Right.
I don't know how the technology that would be put in place to make that call, but to at least put under 2 minutes available for to go to the screen and look at the play and make a determination based off of that. They at least have to go to replay.
Yeah.
Because
it's ridiculous.
With gambling legal, if something like that happens, like in the Super Bowl, it's no longer the team that won the game is the main story. It's the referee and who he is. Right. And that's, those guys have a lot of A lot of pressure. Tough job.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. As much as I want to yell at the refs, like I couldn't do any better probably. So like, it sucks, but it's the name of the game, and it's what I mean. The players got to deal with it more than we do, but it's very frustrating to say the least. I want to ask you one thing. What's the best bet you've ever made in your entire life? If you can name one.
Wow. I've got some good ones. I've got some exact margins of victory.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
See, I think I've seen those a lot. Those are I always am like, how do you do that? Like, are you making like 10 and like just getting lucky, or
so one that just happened recently is my girlfriend, not a sports fan, doesn't like gambling. So I give her what I call Dee dollars. One of my nicknames is Dee. So just to keep her engaged, I'll be like, all right, give me some bets that you want to do. I'll pay for them. And if you win, you get the money. And if you lose, I'll eat it. Just because it's more, honestly, I'm pretty much paying my girlfriend to watch sports. That's what I'm doing.
that's so funny.
Yeah, which I don't know if I'd recommend that to everybody, but it works for me. And it was Red Sox Rays. They were down, I think, 3-1, and she called an exact margin of victory 6-4 Red Sox.
Wow.
And it was like, I don't even know, it might have been plus 3,000, and boom. So there's been some wild ones like that. Yeah. But I would say like my biggest bet, the biggest bet I ever won was probably early season 2013 Red Sox World Series. They had no business even making the playoffs going into the All-Star break. And I had them at a future at probably like plus 1,800. And I hammered them.
That's crazy.
That was a good one. I like future bets. I like if I have a good week, I like to immediately pop some futures, some long odds futures.
Yeah.
And try to sprinkle the board, because like even in this game, so I've got LA in a future, which will be about, I don't know, half of what I put on the Bengals. So I was thinking about doubling up on them. The Bengals play is really kind of a hedge in a sense, because it's
right. That's what I said. That
yeah,
you're basically getting
I want them. That's when I was like, I could do nothing here, and if the Bengals win, it's only like five. I had like 500 on the Rams, like I don't know, week 10 or something. So it's not crazy, but it's going to cover most of what I put, at least half of what I put on the Bengals.
Right.
Which was another added reason. But yeah, I'm a long odds better. I'm a volume shooter.
Yeah, I mean,
I get my shots up.
I'd say the best future I did was the Milwaukee Bucks to win the finals. I did that about a week before the playoffs started, because I was like, you know what? I didn't think the Nets were going to get there, and I just didn't think that was going to happen. So I was like, you know what? I think it's going to be the East this year. So I went Bucks. And then when the Bucks were playing the Nets, I did it again, and I doubled down, which I don't do, but I did. It was what it was, and it worked out in my favor. But that was probably the biggest future bet that I'd won.
The 28-3 live bet of the Patriots was a big one too.
Did you have that?
Oh, I'm telling you, if my guy, so like again, I say right now that the Rams are going to cover half my losses if the Bengals lose, they won't, because the Bengals are going to go down by 10,
and you're going to hammer them again,
and I'm going to smash that like button, right? and then they're going to go down, and they're going to go down 17.
So are you smashing the spread or the money line?
Money line.
Point?
Money line. It's easier to explain to everybody.
Oh,
it's just like, I've spent so much time trying to get my friends interested in sports gambling, and they just don't fucking care.
The funny thing is a lot of friends, I mean, my friends that I've grown to have in the past couple of years, I've got them all on it. Like, they weren't on it before, they are now. Like,
well, it's hard not to. I don't know what you are lifetime, but if you have friends that gamble, And they're not trailing you at this point.
Oh, I mean, I've got multiple group chats. I just send them in. Sometimes they don't see them on Twitter, TikTok, whatever. I send them in. They tail them. Well, they don't. I mean, it's on them at that point. I give them out. So my thing is like, I give them out. You tail them. Whatever happens, happens. Like if you're not tailing them, that's on you.
You said that in a response to one of my tweets, which is at this point, it's on them.
Right. It is.
And I mean, I'm over here like, I'm telling my guys, like, no, trust me, this kid, he's got lock in his name.
Exactly.
All right. Isn't it? I'm going to get you a special broom.
Oh, because
I owe you a gift at this point. So I think I'm going to get you a custom broom.
I would love that. That would be great. That'd be great.
Little handheld broom.
A little handheld broom. We had I had a lot of DMs about the podcast today and questions.
Yeah, I got time, man. I got like another 20, 30 minutes, so we can go as long as you want.
All right. Actually, real quick, Kristaps Porzingis just got traded to the Wizards for Spencer Dinwiddie. These are just piling up right now. I guess trade deadline's at 4:00. So that's interesting.
Dinwiddie's legit. Porzingis was never going to be the guy that we thought he was. No. He's got that body type that just is too prone to injury.
Yeah, it's weird. I think the Mavericks, I mean, they're really doing Luka a disservice because they just don't bring him anybody in to help.
Don't bring him anybody. It's like Tim Hardaway Jr. is the best.
That's the best they're gonna get. It's unreal.
And they couldn't have I understand having a 7-foot point guard. It might be tough to play with, but you're not even gonna try to put some shooters around him.
Unreal.
Like the Kings just unloaded their whole
that didn't make what they did to Tyrese Halliburton. I don't understand what that was.
That makes absolutely no sense.
No sense. Zero.
They're like, okay, we'll be good in 2030.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what they just packed it in and said. Okay, well, not our decade.
But the thing is, I like De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. It's a great, and Harrison Barnes too. I mean, they have a good team. They have a good team still, but I don't like how they did that. Oh my God! So someone just DM'd me and said, "Tell Devin he needs to work on his cardio for the next challenge." I was rooting for him.
Yeah, so I actually had a pretty hilarious tweet myself about this exact thing. My most common tweet is go do some cardio. Like it is without question the number one, and it's probably 15 times as many of those as any other mention. I
mean, I've seen the show a little bit. I mean, I think that's what's holding you back from not winning ever.
It's without a doubt. It's the first one. I've only been in 2 finals of the challenge. Yeah. First one, God bless her heart, Cheyenne, amazing person, not a challenge champion.
Right.
Just not. There wasn't a way that we were going to beat those 2 teams, which someone just published a clip of that I very articulately explain to everyone else in the house early in the game. If we don't find a way to put Vince and Jenna against Bananas and Sarah, we're all competing for 3rd place. And what ended up happening, we were all competing for 3rd place. Now, this final was winnable. I could have won it. I probably should have won it because Emmy was just as fast as they were. I was actually slowing her down on that last leg. But I would take my skill set with something to improve on that is improvable. Like I can just start running and get better at running. You can't start doing math as a 30-year-old and get better at math.
Yeah.
You can't.
So I got a question. So how long did you actually solve that in like under a minute? That last puzzle.
Which one?
In the final. Like when they had already won, you had done the little puzzle at the very end. I can't remember what you put the numbers in it.
The memorizing thing?
Yeah, the memorizing thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I memorized that. That was a 20-digiter. But it was dates.
That's incredible.
It was five. It was 5 dates. Which was pretty clear to me once I saw the ones and the zeros repeating.
Right.
There's always no. So like you always have to think that people make these games, and if a person has to come up with a 20-digit code, what are they going to do?
Right.
They're going to use dates that are important to them. Like if I had to come up with a 20-digit code, that's what I would do. I would either use 2 phone numbers with like, area code and the number, 2 of those, or I would use 5 dates that are important to me, which are very often birthdays. And I ended up being 100% correct on this. So then I was just remembering dates,
Yeah.
I was remembering May 12th, October 16th, October 2nd, October
Right.
14th, and June 21st, which is the right number in that order. But yeah, that was
How long does it how long does it take to get over something like that? Losing a final like that?
coming in third to CT, Kyle, Tori, and Casey. Not long to get over it.
Yeah.
There was a couple pivotal points in the game in this game that I made mistakes that I won't broadcast, obviously, because
Right.
no one else thought of them except for me. I'm sure of this.
Yeah.
So that part of it, the preventable issues was a little bit hard to get over. And the fact that based on a different format, I would have won. Everyone says that's a loser. Oh, I would have won if the rules were different. Like, I sound like that guy because I am that guy right now. But that's accurate because my lead going into the last day was more than the time that I lost by.
Right.
So had we stayed as individual time, I would have won. So my argument to everyone that tells me to do, long-winded as this is, more cardio, is I will, in fact, do more cardio, but I won't do it at the expense of the other parts of my game that get me there, because
Correct.
I have a rare skill set
Yeah.
for the challenge. And there's a lot of guys that are really fast, really strong, really powerful. There aren't that many of us that can look at something and under pressure think critically about it.
I think there's 2 of you. You and CT probably.
Well, there was 2 of us this season. I would
Right.
actually have put Logan and Emmanuel in that category as well. And I love Kyle to death, but Kyle is known for making bad decisions under pressure. He regularly does that. So
Right.
you kind of have to take him out. I would have been interested to see Emmanuel in that final, and I would have been interested to see Logan in that final, both who have outstanding endurance and are very fucking smart.
Yeah. It's funny, and you're gonna laugh at this because this is how because I haven't been watching the challenge that long because there's 2 things I watch. It's sports all day, and if I'm watching TV, it's gonna be reality TV shows.
Yeah.
So
those are the big
right.
2.
So getting into the challenge, I watched Big Brother religiously, and when I saw, I think the first one of the I've gone back and watched a couple, but when Josh went to the challenge, because I loved Josh on Big Brother, so he went to the challenge. I started watching all those episodes, and there's one thing that I when I started watching those, and I learned a couple of things about the challenge in the past. Why was there never an "Are You the One" alliance?
It's it's a modern mystery and miracle, and it was not for my lack of encouragement.
Right.
But I honestly believe that because I was would have been the de facto captain of that alliance, uh, it got no prospects.
That's so
There's
funny.
Yeah, there is, and also there was a very unfortunate break that I took, or that I guess I didn't take it willingly, but that I was put on essentially, and that would have been a really good time to do something like that. So the first opportunity that we had to do it got shot down because I had Dario and Nate. Those were the two guys that I had from Are You the One on Rivals 3. And they were just, I mean, nice guys, morons. Maybe successful in real life. I think Dario's a successful guy. He's probably smart in real life. Absolute idiot in a game show environment. No sense of what it would take to actually win the show.
Right.
Totally satisfied with coming in fourth or third. It was definitely the let's see how long we can last game instead of let's put ourselves in a position to win game.
Yeah.
And I get it. You can't win if you don't get to the end, but
Yeah. Do you see that with a lot? Like, I don't know if you're gonna say this or not, but do you see that with challengers that you play with now that like come into the game just to be on the show and don't think they're gonna win?
one of the most undervalued aspects of the game is the weekly stipend because we get paid per week to
Right.
be on the show. So there's great incentive for people
To
that
stay longer.
that know that they can't win
Right.
to not rock the boat because I know I'm not winning. But at least I can win for me by getting as much money as possible, right? That's
Right.
what the show's about, is winning the money. So for them, it's a win to get to the money. I don't give a shit about the weekly stipend. I'm trying to get a ring. You take the money out of it, I'm going just as hard. I care about being immortalized in challenge history
Right.
as a champion. That's what I care about. That's why I played sports growing up. I'm not a money guy. Don't care about it.
You're a competitor.
I just want to win so I can shut everybody up.
Right.
I want to make the video with the broom. I want to make the broom video.
Right. You want to
That's
Devin
what I
wants
want.
to make the broom video on the challenge. He's gonna bring a broom to the finale. When he
That's what I
wins,
want. I'm going to carry one around with me all season. Little pocket broom.
yep,
Dust my shoulders off.
that would
But
be awesome.
to answer the question quickly, no one has wanted to be in an alliance with me up until this point, because people don't like that they would be looked at as an underling of me.
Yeah.
Wes Bergman has the same issue where, and I've said this in a lot of interviews, we could, Wes, myself, there's a few other people that are kind of in this department now. We could be selling you a really something really good deal. And you just wouldn't believe that it was a good deal because it's coming from us. So when I go to somebody with the, hey, let's make an Are You the One alliance deal, it's a good deal.
Right.
They can't see through the fact that they might be getting tricked by me because they, for whatever reason, they just thought that I was trying to trick them.
Is that why you had a hard time with the Big Brother Alliance originally? Because that's what you wanted.
100% fueled in
Yeah.
jealousy.
Yeah.
Absolutely, no doubt. I've said this 1,000 times. It was like I looked at everything I didn't have. I looked at 3 people who had no business having the position in the game that they had.
Right. You're like sitting here like, dude, this guy Fessy's in my spot.
Oh, well, not even that. I'm looking at it just like, how have they managed to figure out, 3 of them managed to figure out something that is so obvious to everybody, but I can't get like
Right. Well,
even a handful of people to go along with it.
you want to know what I think it was though? I think part of it is a show like that, which I would love to go on, but I don't know if I could do it because to be in a house for 100 days is absolutely insanity.
Oh, that is
That's
100.
insanity. They're bonded. They're bonded. Those people that went on the show together are bonded for life.
Through trauma,
Right.
through PTSD. No, for real.
Yeah. So
And
like
especially
Josh and Casey, all them.
especially having one. And then also, I believe Fessy was casted for the show through a suggestion from Josh. Like they were, I don't know if that's exactly correct, but I know that he threw his name out there as someone that would be good for the show.
Yeah.
And so then at that point, you obviously are going to work with that person that put your name in the pot.
Yeah.
But the other thing is it's easier to even this season when I was winning, when I was having success, it wasn't because I was good at anything. It was because I had a good team.
It was
And
a good team. It was
it
a
was a
great
good
team.
it was a good team. And not to pat myself on the back, but there was a lot of other good teams that didn't have any semblance of strategy and couldn't work calmly under pressure.
Yeah.
So what I saw this season and what I've hung on to and will bring into the game again if I'm fortunate enough to play it is that people would rather see somebody that they think is a good competitor do well than somebody that they don't think is a good competitor. And the
Yeah.
reason that people don't think that I'm a good competitor is because I hammer cold cans and play pool and talk shit and then go to the mission and win. And they don't
Right.
like that. They would rather see the person slaving away in the gym and working really hard at running up hills and doing whatever else because that to them, they can understand losing to that person. Well, they put in a lot of work, so I
Right.
understand losing to them. It doesn't make sense for them to lose to me.
Mm-hmm.
I sleep till 1. I drink 15 beers.
We love
I
it.
roll up and I win the Heights Over Water challenge. It
We
doesn't
love
make
it.
sense to them. I love it. I think it's hilarious. They don't
Hilarious.
they don't like that. And they don't want to be in an alliance with that person.
So I don't know if you can answer this, but I'm gonna ask it anyway.
Yeah.
I've heard different things around. I don't know when the next season is, or if you're on it or not, or whatever. But do you think there's a possibility that bananas will come back because of what CT's doing?
So I don't think anybody has been confirmed, or even if I was, I wouldn't tell you, but I have not, I don't know. I don't know the dates. I don't know the theme. I don't know if I'm in the running. I think pretty much everybody is in the dark on that. Uh, I think it's very likely that Johnny will come back at some point. Um, I think that what CT is doing plays a major role in that.
Yes, I think so too.
And even TJ himself, after CT won this season, he said, well, we'll be getting Johnny back
Yep.
because he knows, TJ knows us as competitors much better than the viewers because he sees everything that goes on behind the scenes and that gets cut. And he knows, that Johnny wants the title of the GOAT.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
and right now there is a good argument for it being CT. So I think we'll see him back. I don't have an issue with that. I've addressed this too. Like, I don't think that me and Johnny are ever going to see the world the same way, but that's okay
Right.
because I
Everyone.
see
Yeah.
I see the world differently than a lot of people.
Right.
Um, and I want all the best people to go and play that game. So if and when I win one, I can drop the mic and be like, there's no asterisks, there's none of this. Like,
Yeah.
to me, the more really good competitors, the harder the final, the more you earned it. And there's no doubt, like him or dislike him, Johnny's one of the best to ever play the game. So I want all the best people to play the game and I want to beat them. And delusional or not, I believe that on my best day, I can beat anybody.
I hope you win a final. I really do. I'm
Me
rooting
fucking
for.
too, Seth.
I,
Me
I'm
too.
I'm rooting for you to. I got my. I'm putting money on Devin to win the next challenge. Throwing hammer down units on units. Other than you, who is somebody that hasn't won a final that you would love to see win a final?
I gotta see Kyle hold that trophy up. I
Yeah.
gotta see Kyle hold that
Goofy
trophy.
Kyle. Goofy Kyle.
What people don't recognize is that Kyle is a pioneer of the challenge. He was the first successful international cast member. He
Yeah.
was the first successful cast member taken from a show that weren't that we can include Are You the One in the big three now because there's a lot of people from Are You the One. There's
Mhm.
champions from Are You the One. There's that is very much a staple of the casting now. There's Real World, Road Rules, Are You the One? But he was the first out of that group. He was the first international. He did, I think he's done 9 in a row.
Wow.
I think he did 9 back to back to back. He's put a lot of his life into this show. He's added a lot to it. He's earned it. Um, he's given us some of the best moments. Like, if there's someone not only that I like because he's a friend of mine, but he has earned it. Tori has earned it.
Tori,
Uh,
yeah.
Corey has earned it. Corey has brought a lot to this show. Um, he's somebody that really, you know, he's an unsung hero of the challenge because of what he's brought through in the longevity of his career. And then if we start talking about longevity, it's impossible to leave out Anissa and Nani.
Anissa, Nani, yeah.
Anissa and Nani haven't earned it. Like, they have, because people don't understand how difficult that show is to be a part of now, and to go in the transitional phase from what it was, which was very much like a good time party atmosphere competition second, to be able to transition into what it is now, where there's literal Olympians on the cast.
Oh yeah.
And it is very much a competition show.
Yeah.
To be able to make that transition relatively seamlessly as those two have, very difficult to do, very difficult to be in the spotlight for this long and not do something or say something that's controversial enough to get you to for you to be gone.
Yeah.
So, like, especially the last 5 years, the bullets that these cast members have had to dodge from like a woke, like, social justice perspective of having their entire lives looked through with a fine tooth comb. If you're still in it and you've been doing it that long, you earned one.
Yeah,
Give one to my girls.
you brought up Nani. You were there when what was that situation like with the Nani and Casey elimination?
I mean, you saw my stance on it. I told Tori, stop crying, save your energy. That's
Yeah.
the game. That's the nature of the beast. Like, uh, that that is why it is the best game on planet Earth. But that's also why it is arguably the biggest mind fuck.
Yeah,
Because
that was crazy to watch.
in the way that there are no set rules. It's not like a sport in the sense that they can't, like, change it at halftime based off of the result of the first half. You can't change the rules to the game.
Yeah.
And I believe that those rules are set in place before the challenges. Like, I don't think that they're going into it and saying, okay, well, this happened, so now we're going to change it. Some people think that. I don't think that. I think the rules are set out, but we don't know what they are. So your whole strategy could be built on one thing, and then the entire show takes a massive turn. So there is no such thing as a halftime adjustment because you don't know what you're adjusting for.
Yeah, that's kind of the same thing with the when they switched the game up. I think it was maybe double. I don't remember which season it was, but the Red Skull Gold Skull kind of thing when TJ switched the whole thing up of you have to go in to get to the final.
Yeah.
Did you like that, or what's your thoughts on that one?
I mean, I certainly liked the format of Spies Alive
Of-
and Allies. I thought that was a great format.
Right.
Love to see that again. I think, again, when hopefully, if I have the opportunity and potentially when I get that ring, I want it to have been as difficult as possible.
Right.
And that makes it as difficult as possible.
It does make it pretty difficult.
It's not because even this, and I'm totally happy with how the season went down, but I had it pretty good. I had it pretty good.
I think if I had to pick somebody, I think you played a pretty perfect game up to the end. Like, I mean, I don't know much of the different aspects of what happens during the show, but I feel like watching how it all played out, I feel like, Team Emerald, everything went to plan. I just feel like you played up to what you could.
Yeah, there was only two moments, and again, I'm not going to mention them, but
Right.
there was only two moments that I've played through every single day of that season in my head. We know now about my memory. It's a curse and a blessing. I've played it out over and over and over again, not dwelling on it, but just constantly trying to improve. I never look at something and think like that was the best that I could have done for me at that time, but massive room for improvement.
For sure.
So I'm not going to rest and be like, oh, came in third, lost to CT, arguably the GOAT. Good season. Pat yourself on the back. No, I came in third. I came in third. That's cool, but it's not, I'm not happy. It's not winning.
No.
The bronze is bronze for a reason because it's not gold, because it has less value.
Yeah. It was pretty cool to see CT and Casey split the money. That was pretty cool to see. I mean, I had a feeling anybody who would have won would have done that though.
Anybody in that group
of people.
Anybody in that group, I can say with certainty that Kyle and Tori would have split it, and I can say with absolute certainty that me and Emmy would have split
it. Yeah.
I don't know exactly how, but we would have for sure. And I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know how long filming is, but while you're out there, are you missing sports? Like,
I try to gamble on every elimination, and I get you've got no idea. I'm setting lines. I'm the odds maker.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. I'm the odds maker. So I actually still.
That's awesome.
I still owe Logan like 50 mojitos. Yeah. We would bet.
So you guys are you guys doing it while you're up there watching down? Or are you doing it way before? Because you don't know the elimination until you get down there. I guess that makes sense.
It depends on the format, but in the team setting, I would make lines blind lines. So we don't know what the game's going to be. We know who the teams are.
Right.
Blind lines. And that was, it was in partners, and then when it turned into larger teams. We're betting on pool. We had a pool table. We're betting on pool. We're betting on relay races that we have. And again, these are kind of intangible objects, right? So like one big bet that we'll do is me and you are playing in a game of pool. Mm-hmm. If I win the game, you have to get my drinks for the rest of the night. Anytime I want a can, you're on your way to the kitchen and you're bringing it back.
I love that.
So it's stuff like that. Now, sometimes with the actual, I've gone as far as to try to bet my vote, which no one has ever accepted. I've been so confident. I was so confident in the Ed Kyle pole wrestle. I tried to bet my vote at the next nomination ceremony. Nope, got no takers. I said, I got Kyle. I'm putting my vote on it. Who wants this action? Literally, you can, and I'm a man of my word. I would have let them have my vote. There's awesome. No way he was no way he was losing. Yeah, that.
There was no
that
way.
Was a lock. That was a lock.
That was what we'd call a locker's lock right there. Kyle to win the pole wrestle.
That is what we would call a locker's lock.
That right there. So was Team Emerald like minus 600 every competition, every round?
No. It was a lot of those came down to, so we should have lost the satellite sabotage, which we won because Kyle got DQ'd for jumping on the platform instead of into the water. Yeah. He got all the way around and jumped onto the platform instead of jumping in the water. Clear rule infraction. Lost. We shouldn't have won that one. We won that one by default. We won the unraveling the rope out of the boat and pulling the trunk to safety by, I think, 8 seconds. And Amanda was on the boat doing the Titanic. So anybody else on that team aside from Amanda and Ruby wins that one. We won Money Heist by where we had to do the duffel bag money trips. We won that by probably, I don't know, a minute and a half.
Yeah.
So they're always close. They don't. There's always equalizers in them, and that's why if you have a strategic mind, 9 times out of 10, it's the person with the best strategy that wins the daily challenges because it's very rarely who can run the fastest in a straight line or who can do the most push-ups in a row. But something like that is just strictly physical, it is very rarely that.
Yeah. I think the smartest thing was, which I thought at that point, what I'm about to say, when you and CT at the end of the final joined up, when you guys went to those little, the three things, and you and CT, I think it was you, CT, Emmy, and Tori. I'm not sure if that's right. But
Yep.
I thought it was either going to be one of you guys winning the final at that point. I think that was genius.
I thought that was the team. We thought that was the team, man. We thought that was.
Did you guys think that was you guys were all going to go and win the final together?
I thought that. So we were told at the beginning that it was a cumulative time. Right. So we're by ourselves for the first. I have to silence that. We're by ourselves for the first 2 checkpoints, and that you're being timed individually there. Then once you get on your team, you still have an individual time, but what's being added to that now is your team's time. So there was no way for CT to gain any time on me because he was on my cell.
Right.
So we were in first and second. So there's no way for him to gain on me. And we were in first and second by like 45 minutes. And we had the 2 fastest girls on our team too. So we thought there's no way they're beating us by like an hour and a half on these next legs. We ended up winning all those too. So our time was way ahead of the other team. That's why Nani had to go against Casey and Nelson had to go against Kyle.
Yeah. What
I didn't realize, and this was probably the third mistake that I made, was by being on the same team as CT, it saved me from not having to go into that elimination, but I was moving at their pace, which is much faster than my pace. So by the time it split into pairs again, I was gassed.
Right.
Because I was moving at the Tori MECT pace instead of the Devin pace. I might have had a little bit more in the tank for that mountain push if I had been able to use my lead strategically. But because I was in a team, I had to move at their pace, and I gassed myself.
Yeah, I mean that's what the challenge is. I feel like everything, you don't know what's going to happen until it happens. So it's hard to play, especially that. It's hard to plan for that for the future seasons, but I think you're going to figure it out. I think you're going to win one. I truly believe that.
I like my chances because
when you
look at the field in any given time. So yeah, 30, maybe anywhere from 30 to 36 people show up. Half of those are women. So you've got anywhere from 15 to 18 people to compete against. I don't think that there's on any given season, I don't think there's 10 people that are better than me in a well-rounded sense.
Right.
I think I can take 10 off the top right away. Maybe they might beat me on any given day, but when you look at the full picture of what it takes to win one of these things, I think there's really only about 25% of the guys that are there can actually win. I'd put myself in there, and then at that point, you got a 1 in 5 chance. And I've done 6 of these 7, so technically finals. I'm overdue.
Yeah, you're overdue. You're ready to roll. And I think if it comes down to it, I'm putting money on you over Bananas in the final, 100%. Lockard's lock is Devin over Johnny Bananas in the final, whatever season that happens to be.
That would break every ratings record of all time.
That would be unbelievable.
Yeah, it would be if you had like me, Johnny, Kyle, and like Wes,
yeah.
As a 4 male final, or honestly, like if you had like Corey, even Nelson. People love Nelson's another one that has
Nelson.
earned it. If you had like Corey, Nelson, me, and Johnny in a final,
that would be
forget about it.
Yeah, that would be unreal.
It'd be ridiculous.
And then it'd be like you and Johnny team up against those two, and then you guys it's you and him. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I would be there for it. This has been awesome. This has been a great interview. I've loved having you. I
appreciate that.
This has been great. I love your support. It means the world. We're gonna have you on again for sure. Talk some basketball, maybe during March Madness season. We'll talk some basketball.
I would say probably the lead up, the lead up episode to March Madness. Once the brackets are out. We probably do some bracketology.
Oh, Devin and Locker's Locks bracketology episode is for sure gonna happen. It's got to happen.
Pretty much put it in the books.
Put it in the books. Put it in the calendar. It's gonna happen. That's Devin Walker, guys. We will have this episode. I'm gonna try to have this episode before the Super Bowl, probably Saturday. We'll have it out. And then get ready for bracketology with Devin and Locker's Locks. And we'll see you guys there. Devin, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Guys, like the video, subscribe to this channel. Follow me on TikTok at Squeebs and Crew. I post all my picks there, and I post them on Twitter at SethLocker20. Devin's been there. He's been telling me, and we're at 81% this month, so you don't want to miss it. I
cannot urge you enough to set your notifications for Seth Locker 20 as a cha-ching noise and tail this man. I don't know. He said it best. At this point, if you don't, it's on you.
It is on you if you don't tail at this point. Devin said it. I said it. We're all saying it. And we'll see you guys next week. For next week's episode, we're going to recap the Super Bowl. Me and Marcus will have you guys for that. And we'll see you next week. Peace.